Hello everybody, time for another weekly patch update. We are going to change things up a little bit. We're going to start out at the Barlow plant and pumpkin. As you can see, it is now taller than the rest of the plant, which is good. And another thing you might have just noticed is all back there. This weekend, that is what I did. I brought in the weed whacker or weed trimmer, whatever you guys call it. And I whacked all the weeds down as low as I could. I raked it all out, and then I brought the tiller back there and just scraped the surface to kill off whatever was remaining of the grass and weeds. Now, the significance of bringing a tiller in there is I have a regular, it's the one I brought it back there was a 24-inch wide tined tiller that you have to manually push, and that is about 10 inches, and the wheel span is about 14 inches. So basically what I had to do is muscle it on one wheel and bring it all the way down there on all three plants just to get the tiller back there. But shouldn't have to do that anymore this year, now that it's manageable back there. But I do think next year I need to redesign and rethink how I do everything here. One of the changes I want to make is rather more so probably on the side over here. I want to possibly put a little opening so I can get any tillers or whatever I need to easier accessible to the front of the plant instead of trying to get through here, because that's just a beast to try to get back there. So yeah, that basically doing all three of the plants back there took basically all day Saturday and then all day yesterday, Sunday, was just recovering from that, because it was knocking on 90 degrees and the dew point humidity was way up there once again. So but I managed to get it all done, so I'm very happy with how it looks back there. That's been bugging me for quite some time. So as you can see here, this is the oldest part of the plant, so it's getting susceptible. Well, it shows the disease now. Probably tonight or tomorrow, very shortly in the near future, I'll be trimming. Probably get that one, those two, and that one. Probably cut those four off, and then I'll continue doing that once they get to like that state, because they're not doing anything for the plant anyways. But at least for me, that's normal this time of the year, getting into August. But I guess it may not be a horrible thing, because it's along the main vine, so you know, when I cut the leaves, it'll allow more air down there and the sun to hit it more to help keep it dry for those humid days. So I guess in that way it does work out. And yes, you probably noticed, got some wonderful thistles. You can tell I'm just anxious to get in there and pull those. But yeah, this evening I'll be feeding these guys again. I won't be watering and feeding them as heavy because tomorrow it will be only, it says mid 70s, so probably will knock on closer to 80 maybe. And afternoon clouds, so these guys won't be using as much water tomorrow as they did today. So you gotta kind of adjust your watering according to what the next day's weather is gonna be, because otherwise bad things happen, mainly disease and some rotting, the vines and whatnot. So yeah, it's not doing too bad. I'm gonna bump up some nitrogen because it's not as green as I would like, but the pumpkins are starting to really kick it into gear, for what I typically get, and I'll get you those numbers once I show you the pumpkins. I will now bring you on over to the mason, which this one has a few more diseased leaves in the center. I think partially that is due to it's just a little drier over here in this corner, so I might be getting stressed a little bit more. So with the plants, this is the older part of the plant back here, so the roots and the vines back here are not going to be as efficient anymore as all of this part of the plant, the new part. So and leaves are dying, so my main focus now on the plants is to and I'll show you when we get up there, is to really focus on trying to get those secondaries and tertiaries up there to really go. So I'm gonna just really focus on burying all those nodes up there and making sure that the front of the plant never dries out, just so to really encourage the growth, and make sure I cut all the tertiaries back here, which I got some over here to still trim. I was trimming all of those, a couple of those back there, so then you don't want to do too many too much pruning in one day, because then that'll potentially send a surge of energy to the pumpkin and could cause some issues. So tomorrow I'll go over here on this side and trim up some of the secondaries. Those two finally got over there, so I'll trim those, and I got some tertiaries over here, probably over here as well, so I'll trim some of those. So basically all forward growth on the back of the plant I'm completely stopping and focusing all the energy on getting more plants in the front. So that is what the game plan with the plants are. And yes, this plant more so than the Barlow has a little more further along disease. Right here, it's not horrible, but could be better. You really can't get rid of that. You basically can only really slow it down. And after today, there'll be 7 weeks and 4 days until we pick these pumpkins for harvesting. Just go to the weigh-offs on that Saturday. So they have a healthy 7 weeks that they need to stay pretty healthy and keep the pumpkin going. So with that being said, I will start showing you the pumpkins and tell you and give you the progress and show you what I'm doing up in front of the plants. Oh, and you might have noticed here, all right here, the leaves kind of kinked over. I just had the shade cloth on today because it was in the low 80s. So when I put these, retracted them back to their closed position, part of the shade cloth was rolling those over, so they might roll back. If not, well, you know, it's just one of those things. So now I'm going to take you on to the pumpkins and let you know how they are doing. So today, typically we'll start with the smallest pumpkin and we'll work our way to the big guy over there. So let me take you over to the Holland. Alright, so here we are at the Holland. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were all knocking on 90 degrees and very humid. Friday when I measured this guy, he only gained 4.5 pounds. And then Saturday, when I came to measure all these guys, all the other 2 pumpkins were nice and cool to the touch, which they're supposed to be. They're supposed to feel somewhat a little bit cooler than what the outside air is. But this guy almost felt hot. Not hot like you can't touch it, but it definitely was a lot warmer than it should have been. And when I measured it Saturday, it gained nothing, which Friday I kind of knew something was up. Saturday with not gaining anything and the pumpkin being hot, and from the experts that I've talked to, said that this pumpkin basically aborted. And the root cause of the abort was the heat. The sheet was blown off, and unfortunately the shade cloth was not on over it like it is today. So I think between those 2 factors, it just got too hot and had enough. So this guy is no more. So I will, for this moment, well, I'll have to get rid of this pumpkin sooner than later, just because otherwise it'll start getting too soft and smelly back here. But I'm thinking, the plant looks really good right now because it's not getting overexposed by the sun. But it looks a lot like the Barlow does, color-wise. But the plant is healthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the plant. So I was kind of going back and forth what I was going to do with the plant, but I think I'm going to leave it. I won't water it like I do the other 2, but I want to keep it just so that hopefully some pumpkins start growing on here, and you know, use them for fall decoration. So but yeah, the Holland pumpkin is no more. It died at 209 pounds. So yeah, so that's the scoop on the Holland. So let's go look at the other pumpkins that are still doing wonderful. Alright, now we are over here at the Mason. Now, despite its blobbiness looking, I guess you can call that a shape. I'm actually kind of happy with this guy. Let's see here. I hope you can see that all right. But remember early on how I was saying it had no shoulders. The shoulders were very low. Those are actually filling out, and it's actually getting a decent shape to it. You know, I can't complain. It's not the prettiest pumpkin, but certainly not the ugliest. It's actually been doing pretty good this week. Its current weight is at 271 pounds. It put on 150 pounds this week, which it's been averaging basically 21.5 pounds per day. But most of that weight gain was the last, I think it was like 2-3 days. Because today it put on 30.5 pounds, which is awesome. That's like, for me, that's about as good as I can get these guys to grow, you know, in a single day. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, we'll see if the Mason or the Barlow can get me to beat my personal best. This can be pretty tough, but we're gonna give her it all. And here, while we're up here, the Barlow is a better example, but of what I'm doing up here. But like this vine, and there's a vine right here. I'm gonna curve up here so it comes up here and starts filling up. Unfortunately, I did not catch that one on time, and he was growing in the snow fence, so I couldn't direct him out here. But any tertiaries growing off of him, he'll grow out here, and all the secondaries here will come out and fill all this dirt area. But this side's doing pretty good, and actually, out of all three of my plants, this Mason plant is my biggest plant. It is filling up this area pretty good. Let's see if I can back up and see a little better, and you can see me. Hi. It is doing well. The one downfall of this shade cloth, it's in the way half the time. But right where this table is where the main vine is. I'll be curving that way, and then obviously all these secondaries will easily fill this little void, because that's not too big. That's maybe 10 feet top, so that'll easily get that. So this will be the bigger spot to fill out. So I'll attack it from here, from the main vine here, and then whatever those secondaries and tertiaries on the other side of the pumpkin do, and then that'll fill up this area. So now we will go over to the Barlow. Alright, we're over here at the Barlow. This is a little easier to see. I curved this secondary and all these secondaries that would have grown there. I curved them all in there, and I guess that's it. That's the last one. So these are all curved in, and hopefully this guy will shoot out some tertiaries so it can go this way for a little bit. And basically the same story over here. You can see guiding some of those secondaries, which these are secondaries because the main vine is being accompanied by some weeds. Yay! But here is the main vine. So I'll just have this one kind of curve over on this side of the fence so I can have some of the secondaries come over here as well, and I'll just shoot him over there. So so that's the plan for this plant, but you're probably more interested in what's underneath that sheet. So let me get the sheet off of that and I'll show you this pumpkin. All right, and this is the Barlow. Shade cloth is doing its job in shading the bottom, but this is a very, it's more towards an oblong pumpkin than a round one, but it's a very nice shape. I like this shape a lot. And yeah, I was just looking at the blossom end, and it looks like that one's gonna still be visible, hopefully throughout its whole growing period. It's getting a little lip right there, so part of it might be closed up, but that's not necessarily a bad thing right there on top, because any rain that comes down should help keep the blossom end drier, in theory. But anyway, so let's get you the numbers, eh? Here, I'll back up so it's in full front view. There we go. All right, so the Barlow is at 311 pounds, and it only put on 141 pounds. Mason put on 150. So, and because of that, it only averaged 20.14 pounds this week. And today was its biggest gain, I should say, and that was at 28.5 pounds. So let's see here. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. Yeah, the Mason pumpkin is actually, I don't think it'll ever catch up to the Barlow, but it definitely is going to stay pretty close to this guy. Especially if it has a little bit better gains than this one does. But I'll take both of them to the way off and see what they are, as long as both of them stay alive. It's gonna be a long 7.5 weeks, but it usually is once you get to this point, because from here on out, everything could go wrong with the pumpkins, with the plants. It's just a matter of luck getting these guys to the finish line. But for right now, I'm fairly confident that I should get both of them there. They're both looking very well. Both the plants are doing pretty good. This plant's doing better than the Mason is, but the Mason will hang on. It'll do its thing. But yeah, there's my long-winded weekly update. You know, there was a lot to cover.